Hey everybody, long video alert, but I want to tell you a story, so I hope it's worth it, because in real estate, no two deals are ever the same. It's a blessing and a curse, because we're always pivoting. But this escrow I worked with these clients for like 6 months, and that was before, I just used to call her once a month and see how she was doing. So the clients are they're elderly. I wouldn't say elderly, they're seniors. The husband was 85. And they used to be in real estate, but they used to be in real estate 25 years ago, way longer before purchase agreements were 29 pages. So first of all, the paperwork is overwhelming. Even the one document we have to sign now before we even show clients property, 6 pages. It's California. So we used a bridge loan. We got him into their new house because he was falling, and they had stairs, big giant 2-story, big Wildomar out in Wildomar. And so we got him into the new house in the colony, which they love. And she sent me a video the other day that she did karaoke, and she got up on this huge stage in front of all these people, and she did like a Joan Baez song. So it was really cool. But this was very stressful for them, because when you do a bridge loan, you have a time limit to get the house sold. So we were a little overpriced. We were chasing the market a bit. When we finally got to the right price, it sold that weekend. So our buyer had to sell their house in order to close on Wildomar. And we always check, of course, with the lender when we see a pre-approval to make sure that it's legit. Lender, yes, we did it in writing. Lender, yes, buyer's good to go, blah, blah, blah. Then they had 25 days to get it sold. I think they got it sold in 14 days. That's when the regular escrow clock starts ticking for inspections, appraisals, etc. So we called the lender again to double check, and no, the appraisal wasn't good. It had never been good. So there were a lot of issues with this escrow. So the lender lied. The agent lied several times. I'll get to that. So their buyer, military guy, VA loan, which is great. But we're under the understanding, being told that everything's moving fine. The only slowdown was because he's in the military, higher clearance. I know it's hard to get through on the phone because they cycle the numbers. I've been down that road. But it was moving along very slowly, like an inchworm. So we're getting close. Oh, and then the other thing was, our buyer, he did not have loan approval. He had to move money around. He had to get a debt consolidation loan and do a credit rescore, which they can go good if you have a team and the lender's done them a lot. This one went well, but we had no assurances. And here I am. We don't really have any other choice but to move forward, because we're already well into this process. Bridge loan clock is still ticking. So the clients were troopers. I mean, I would just try to explain every step the best way I could and present options, always presenting options. So they get the credit rescore. They get our buyer ready to go. Our buyer's agent releases contingencies. Loan appraisal is fine. Now, normally, when an agent releases contingencies, that means that his other deal has also released contingencies. Because when you release a loan contingency, but you can't fund that loan because your buyer is not going to close, now you've put your client's deposit at risk. And this was a hefty deposit. It was totally the wrong thing to do. And he just continually assured us that everything was fine. So I assumed he had it. We get to loan docs. They don't have loan approval. This was so sketchy. I had the agent, I finally told him, look, I don't want to hear your summary. He kept mansplaining stuff to me, which drives me crazy. I want to see what the other agent and your buyer's lender is telling you. I want to see copies of the text or the emails. He finally sent me the DU, direct underwriter approval. And there were conditions. So I asked our buyer's lender, I know this gets really confusing, what do you think of this? Because there were issues on it. That the rate lock was good for 2 days at 5 3/4. We were at 6 3/4. That could have knocked him out of the ballpark because he was already tight. And he's like, eh. He literally wrote the email, give him 24 hours. So I gave him one more extension for 24 hours. They got it done. I was amazed. So we finally closed the buyer's buyer on a Wednesday, our buyer on a Thursday. We closed we closed last Friday. My clients were such troopers, but I just want to share with you I was wrecked on the weekend just to get through this whole process. And I get like a mama bear, so I'm trying to stay on top of everything and everybody. And it was exhausting. But my poor clients, man, they were troopers. And they don't ever want to do this again. Well, thank goodness they're in their forever home, little single, and they love the colony. Did I already mention that? Now I got to get her sister out of Wildomar and into the colony. So we can do everything we're supposed to do as far as due diligence and calling lenders and asking if pre-approvals are correct. And the agent probably really shouldn't have shared that DU with us because it had personal information on it with the buyer. But that's really all we can do is take people for their word. So when I recommend lenders, I know I can trust them. And if your realtor recommends a lender to you, take that recommendation instead of Joe Blow that's on the internet, or you see something in the mail that's got some great, if it looks or if it quacks like a duck, what's the saying? Trust your advisor, because they've been down this road before and they're going to take good care of you. So I'm Patty with Haven Realty Group. And thank goodness I have another one closing this Friday. That's the complete opposite of this. It's an investor deal, no inspections, all cash, 14 days. Woo! All right, another day in real estate. Have a great day.